Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the broadcast. Well, I've got some rather bizarre information to share with you guys today because right now there are things happening in the heavenlies and specifically to the moon and the sun that is leaving scientists baffled. They really don't know what's going on and they're asking a lot of questions, which is why I believe this is of the utmost importance to bring to you because the mainstream media is just silent about a lot of this. But speaking of that, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel as I share information that the MSM isn't talking about. And make sure if you are subscribed that you go all the way up and make sure you have that all button checked. And don't forget to like the video. With that, let's dive into what is going on. Let's start first with the moon, right? Take a look here, and this is on dailystar.co.uk. Huge heat blob coming from mysterious far side of the moon causes concern to scientists. It goes on, a rather large heat-emitting blob has been spotted on the dark side of the moon, and it is causing concerns to experts. The mysterious heat spot is thought to have been caused by radiation coming from the newly discovered granite mass buried deep inside the space rock. It goes on. The granite is thought to have come from a 3.5 billion year old dead volcano. And with it, the heat spot, which could be from magma still in the underground areas where the volcano formerly sat. Now, here's a picture showing that far side of the moon there, and you can see this darker orange reddish area is kind of the heat mass that they are describing there. But it goes on to say that this thing is about 31 miles across and measures around 10 C, which is very, very hot for the moon. Now, while tiny specks have been noted or seen on Mars before, a new mega cache has really caused some confusion, and it could change the way that we understand the giant rock forever because of how it needs water to form. And this is the part that's really baffling the scientists because typically granite requires either plate tectonics or water-bearing magmas to form. While the lunar interior contains small amount of water, the moon has never undergone plate tectonics. And this is according to Timothy Gloch, a geologist there. But either way, this is really leaving scientists baffled because they're saying, hey, the moon doesn't have all the necessities to make this big heat blob, if you will. And it's really, leaving us questioning, are there other ways that this can form? Is there something we're not seeing on the moon? And of course, there's lots of speculation rising around this. And I'll dive into it as I get more answers and I'll keep you posted on what's going on. But either way, this is really causing some concern for scientists. Now, at this time, they're not saying it would have any massive repercussions in any way, shape, or form. But I know there's lots of UFO theories and things regarding the moon. That's why I wanted to share it with you. But that's not the only thing that's kind of going a little haywire. There's also a little more activity that's happening on the sun. Take a look here. And this is on livescience.com. And its giant sunspot grew 10 times wider than Earth in just 48 hours, then spat an X-class flare right at us. And this was as of 12 days ago. So there's a massive increase in solar activity on the sun, and I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. But here's another one, and this is on space.com. And by the way, the other one was on Live Science, but space.com. Sun breaks out with record number of sunspots, sparking solar storm concerns. The sun has not produced this many sunspots in a single month since 2002. And there's the image of some of the increased solar activity. Now, the sun produced over 160 sunspots in June, the highest monthly number in more than 2 decades. The data confirmed that the current solar cycle, the 25th since record began, is picking up intensity at a much quicker pace than NASA and the NOAA forecasted, sparking concerns for severe space weather events in the months and even years to come. Now, they had predicted that they'd have around 125, but it looks like we're going to peak more at 200 monthly sunspots, which means a lot more activity than normal. But this is really attributed, and I'm going to get into this one in just a sec. This is really attributed to your solar maximums and solar minimums. and as really basic interpretation of this, for those of you who may not know, I know some of you already are well aware of that, but approximately every 11 years, the sun goes from a low point of solar activity, and that's known as your solar minimum, to solar maximum, where there's a lot more activity, and then it cycles around and in again. So that's kind of what's going on. We're getting into that solar maximum period. But I think this article is also interesting because it ties together that solar maximum, that solar minimum, and, you know, some of the repercussions it could have to Earth, right? Solar maximum, and this is on livescience.com, solar maximum could hit us harder and sooner than we thought. How dangerous will the sun's chaotic peak be? It goes on to state this: every 11 years, the sun's magnetic field gets tangled up like a ball of tightly wound rubber bands until it eventually snaps and completely flips, turning the North Pole into the South Pole and vice versa. That's your pole reversal. In the lead up to this gargantuan reversal, the sun amps up activity, belching out its fiery blobs of plasma, growing dark planet-sized spots, emitting streams of powerful radiation. This period of increased activity, known as solar maximum, is also a potential perilous time for Earth, which gets bombarded by solar storms that can disrupt things like communication, damage power infrastructure, harm some living creatures, including astronauts, and send satellites plummeting toward the planet. So these are some of the repercussions of that thing. And some scientists think that the next solar maximum may be coming sooner and more powerful than we even thought that they could be. So that's some of the damage that I think we can expect. And I have shared on my broadcast before, especially on Restricted Republic, how some of these solar flares can, you know, we have the mass Carrington event, hopefully. Basically, had we had a Carrington event where you have that sunspot hit the Earth today, the magnitude of power outages and problems it would have caused would have been catastrophic, would have been a nightmare. But thankfully, the systems and stuff didn't, exist back then for it to take out the power. So this is why this is very important, because you have that increased solar activity in these solar maximums, and they could very well disrupt communications, disrupt things here on Earth, especially with our power and all of that. It could knock out the power grid. This is why I believe it's something we absolutely need to be aware of. Anyway, strange things happening up above. I wanted you guys to be aware of that. As a quick reminder, please get on over to restrictedrepublic.com. I can't stress this enough. We are not funded by anybody but you, the people. You're the reason that we are here. As you know, we're limited here on YouTube, so please get to Restricted Republic. We have exclusive content we're not posting anywhere else, and right now, you can get it for $5 per month. Use the coupon code LISA and the number 5. Please get there and support what we do. You're not going to be disappointed. We do live streams and have a lot of fun there as well. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.